Welcome, brave viewers, to the Spooky Channel, your gateway to the eerie and enigmatic realms that exist beyond the mundane world. Join us as we delve into the most mysterious and ominous corners of our planet, unearthing secrets and uncovering chilling stories that will send shivers down your spine. Join us as we peel back the layers of this haunting case where the supernatural collided with reality. We'll unravel the shocking events that unfolded, leaving a lasting impact on all those involved. Prepare to be captivated by the unnerving details as we separate fact from fiction and explore the depths of true horror. Terminally religious. Let's travel back to the eerie mid-70s when casting out demons rivaled the popularity of disco. Anneliese Michel, born on September 21, 1952, belonged to a seemingly ordinary Bavarian family in West Germany. Catholicism coursed through their veins, as it did for 70% of the nearly 11 million residents at the time. Yet the Michel family's devotion exceeded the norm. Anneliese and her three sisters were subjected to twice-weekly Catholic masses, with her mother driving her relentlessly towards fervent prayer and religious dedication. As Anneliese grew older, doctors would later attribute her neurosis to the cruel punishments inflicted upon her during her youth, particularly linked to religious iconography. Remember this diagnosis, for it would weave a sinister thread into the unfolding tale. Despite the oppressive religiosity that saturated the Michel household, Anneliese's friends recalled her initial brilliance as a student, displaying a keen aptitude for language and radiating joy and playfulness. However, the haunting consequences of suffocating parental control and rigid religious indoctrination would return to torment the family, quite literally years later. Doctor's diagnosis. Whether it was possession or mental illness, Anneliese's torment began insidiously, creeping over the span of years. In 1968, at the tender age of 16, she suffered her first documented blackout. Witnesses described her falling into a trance, her consciousness swallowed by an unseen force. Anneliese claimed ignorance, insisting she felt fine afterward. Yet that very night, an impressive presence descended upon her, pressing her down with a weight that stifled her breath. Her alarmed parents kept her confined the next day, hoping it was a singular occurrence. Months passed and Anneliese's life seemed restored until August of 1968, when a similar episode struck. Concerned, her parents rushed her to a local hospital, where Dr. Vox referred her to neurologist Dr. Siegfried Luthi. Extensive examinations and tests yielded no physical abnormalities. Anneliese's health seemed pristine, but the shadows of her affliction loomed closer. In February 1970, after enduring tuberculosis and a lengthy hospital stay, Anneliese was engulfed by her third blackout. This time, her fellow patients, cruel and judgmental, discovered her bedwetting during the spell and reveled in mockery and exclusion. But this blackout held a sinister twist. Anneliese claimed to witness vivid colors, hear unearthly sounds, and bask in euphoria while clutching her rosary beads in prayer. Further tests led Dr. Van Haller, a second neurologist, to diagnose her with epilepsy. Medication was prescribed, but instead of relief, Anneliese's condition spiraled deeper into the abyss. Damned. In 1970, Anneliese mustered the courage to return to school, yet darkness enveloped her spirit. Her once vibrant persona was replaced by a shroud of melancholy, distancing her from friends. The seizures, growing in frequency, deepened her despair. Doctors' visits yielded no answers, leaving her family frustrated and desperate. Undeterred, Anneliese threw herself into the exploration of Catholicism, delving into its depths while completing her school. In 1973, she embarked on her journey to become a teacher at the University of Würzburg. The medication, albeit a constant companion, failed to quell the relentless deterioration of her condition. By mid-1973, a malevolent descent gripped Anneliese's fragile mind. Hallucinations twisted her prayers, tormenting her with damnation. Consumed by the notion that the devil dwelled within, she sought solace not only in doctors, but also in the presence of a priest desperate for any flicker of deliverance. Downfall. In late 1973, Anneliese's unsettling behavior and erratic symptoms escalated with terrifying intensity. Her concerned parents withdrew her from college, relegating her mostly to the confines of her bedroom. It was during this time that she began taking Tegretol, a drug meant to combat seizures and stabilize moods. Sinister events unfolded concurrently as the sound of knocking plagued Annalise's room. Her sisters, too, attested to hearing the haunting knocks. Moreover, Annalisa claimed to hear a voice damning her to eternal torment. Despite her daily regimen of neuroleptic medications, her condition spiraled further. Animalistic growls escaped her lips as she witnessed grotesque demons. Her strength transformed akin to a monstrous force, enabling her to hurl her sister around like a lifeless puppet. She lapped up urine from the floor, chewed on coal, tore her own garments, and consumed insects discovered within their home. Even religious artifacts such as crucifixes and holy water sent her into a frenzy. Her mother recollected a chilling incident when she found Annalisa fixated upon a framed portrait of the Virgin Mary, her daughter's eyes void of color, drowning in jet black depths. These nightmarish manifestations mirrored the telltale signs of what the church deemed a demonic possession. Desperate for aid, Annalisa's family sought multiple local priests for an exorcism. To their dismay, the priests declined, urging them to persist with conventional medical treatment. The path to a Catholic exorcism proved arduous, necessitating the bishop's explicit permission. Treatment. In September 1973, the Michels crossed paths with Father Ernst Alt, a local priest who, upon glimpsing Annalisa, discerned that she bore no resemblance to an epileptic. He adamantly believed she suffered from demonic possession. With his persuasion, the local bishop, Joseph Stangl, granted permission for an exorcism to be conducted in accordance with the ancient ritual Romanum of 1614. However, the bishop mandated utmost secrecy. On September 24, 1975, Father Arnold Renz commenced Annalisa's initial exorcism. She spoke of atonement for the sins of a corrupted era and apostate clergy, yearning for her own demise. Gradually, she ceased consuming sustenance, convinced she was forbidden from doing so. Annalisa's parents abandoned medical consultations, severing her reliance on medication. Instead, they placed their faith solely in the exorcisms. Over the course of an arduous 11-month period from 1975 to 1976, Annalisa endured a staggering total of 67 exorcisms. Multiple sessions were conducted each week, some lingering for hours. Distorted and guttural, her voice echoed through audio recordings of the sessions. She growled like a feral beast, emitting eerie utterance in response to religious rituals. The recordings, undeniably haunting, captured the depths of her affliction. 6 rings and the last straw. The grim audio recordings of the exorcisms exposed a chilling truth. Father Renz and Father Alt conversed with 6 malevolent spirits purportedly inhabiting Annalise. These sinister entities included Lucifer, Judas Iscariot, Nero, Cain, Hitler, and Valentine Fleshman, a defamed priest from the 16th century. Analyzing Annalise's deep connection to Christian teachings, some theorized that she deliberately chose these figures. The evidence is hard to dispute. Despite her emaciated state, Annalise required physical restraint during the exorcisms. The torment inflicted upon her, combined with the absence of medical care, sustenance, and hydration, ravaged her fragile body. Tragically, she passed away at home on July 1, 1976. The death certificate attributed her demise to malnutrition and dehydration, but her autopsy unveiled further horrors. Fractured teeth, 2 blackened eyes, bruises marred her hands, arms, and wrists. Her knees lay shattered, while numerous wounds marred her frail form. The true extent of her suffering was agonizingly revealed. The ramifications. In 1978, Father Alt and Renz, along with Annalisa's parents, faced trial for negligent homicide. Boldly, the priests asserted the success of the exorcism, claiming liberation from the demons that tormented her. Alt even audaciously suggested that some of the wounds noted in Annalisa's autopsy were stigmata. However, the evidence failed to align, and the German courts remained unmoved by the alleged demonic possession. The 3-judge panel found all parties guilty, yet their sentence varied. Father Alt and Father Renz were convicted of manslaughter, receiving 6 months in prison with suspended sentences. Annalisa's parents, deemed to have already suffered enough, were spared any punishment by the German legal system. The harrowing saga reached its unsettling conclusion, leaving a lingering darkness in its wake. Thank you for joining us on this journey to the macabre and terrifying world of horror and mystery. Keep in touch with us here on the Spooky channel by liking and subscribing, and also hit that notification bell. We hope that our videos have kept you on the edge of your seat and made your heart race with fear.